Hello and welcome back to my channel. Saturday morning's come around again and we're just back in from group. I don't think it's quite 12 noon yet, so we're making good time today. I'm going to talk to you about how I got the result I did today and then share with you what my result was. So I'll ask Joe first of all. I made a list of how many sins I had each day and how many healthy extras. So I'm going to ask Joe to share that with us.
Okay, on Saturday you had 13.5 sins and 4 healthy extras. Sunday, 8 sins and 4 healthy extras. Monday, 5 sins and 3 healthy extras. Tuesday, 9 sins and 4 healthy extras. Wednesday, 9 sins, 4 healthy extras. Thursday, 5 sins and 4 healthy extras. And Friday, 9 sins and 4 healthy extras.
If we add those sins up and divide them by 7, my average sin count this week was 8.5 a day, which is more or less where I like to be. Now, have I done anything different this week? Yes, I've introduced more nuts into my diet. So I've been eating walnuts for a healthy extra B, and you get 5 halves of walnuts. And I've been eating Brazil nuts for healthy extra Bs, and you get 5 Brazil nuts. We actually looked at doing healthy extras. I think it was walnuts, wasn't it, Joe, when we were looking at doing it by weight. If you had them from Tesco, you could have 15 grams for a B choice. If you had them from Morrison's, was it? You could have 18 grams for a B choice. What the hell? How does a walnut know which supermarket it was born in? We found that a bit flummoxing, so we just went with the advice where it says you can have 5 halves. And the one thing I've learned over the years is it isn't always wise, if you want to lose weight, to pick the 5 biggest halves. Because I always remember back in the days of dieting and weight loss, if it said an apple was, I don't know, 50 calories, I would go into the supermarket and choose the biggest apples I could find and still expect them to be 50 calories. So now, when it comes to having 5 walnut halves, I let Joe do the choosing, because my temptation would be to go for the biggest ones. 5 is 5, not 5 biggest. So this week, with my healthy extra choices and my sin choices, I've actually lost 2.5 pounds. I was surprised by that, I'll be honest, I was surprised by that. It's been warm this week, but that hasn't really affected my food. I've eaten pretty much as normal. I've had quite a few what I call picky plates, where I've had, for example, yesterday's I had 2 ready-cooked skinless chicken breasts from Waitrose with lots of chopped up celery and cucumber and feta cheese. Did I have anything else with that? It was quite a plateful, wasn't it? Oh, and a pear sliced onto the plate. I like crunchy things. I find things that I have to crunch and munch on a lot more filling than food that is just easy chew and swallow. So yeah, I've had quite a few plates like that this week, because for me, a salad on a plate with lettuce and thinly sliced cucumber and that just doesn't cut it. It doesn't fill me. So I tend to like my things cut a bit chunkier, and then I will crunch on lots of that. And probably, I'm a bit of a one for eating my meat last, I've always done that. But some really enjoyable meals this week, lots of watermelon again, but not too heavy on the other fruit. I've had mango and I've had pears and I can't think what else, but I've kind of kept it to 2 good portions of fruit a day again. Last week the fruit went up and the weight went up. I don't know if there's any correlation or whether that just happens. As I say, I'm really surprised. Losing 2.5 pounds this week wasn't what I expected. I actually shared with Debbie last night, Debbie SW, in a text that because I've been eating nuts this week, I have been constipated. Probably TMI for some people, but it's really unusual for me because I'm as regular as clockwork. And I actually didn't go for 4 days, which I had to put down to the nuts. And yes, Debbie, I did go this morning. We were discussing that last night. So yeah, happy with my result this week. Feeling good, feeling comfortable in my own skin. Excuse me. And actually feeling ready for breakfast. So I wanted to get this video done and then I'll have my breakfast and relax. It was a very good group this morning. Again, we had a standing consultant because Naomi's away, but a young lady called Sasha did our group again, and it was really interesting. We didn't do traditional image therapy. We actually had a discussion from the little book, which is it Love Your Slimming World group? That little book. I think it was around page 12 where it talks about emotional eating. We actually had a group discussion, and there must have been, I don't know, 50, 60 plus people there this morning. Big room. Maybe more than that. We had a group discussion about emotional eating, and those of us that do emotionally eat, comfort eat, binge eat, and what protection we can put in place to help ourselves with those things. Was a really, really open and frank discussion, and some good stuff came out. And we talked about changing habits and dealing with cravings and such like. And for a Slimming World group, that was actually different. It was good. And then we didn't go around the room saying who'd lost what and who'd gained what. We actually were invited to share, if we want to share our results this week, and some people did. And we actually were invited to ask questions if we had any questions we wanted to ask of the consultant, and some people did. And we were actually invited to share if we had anything tough to face this week that we needed help with, and some people did. And it was very, very good. Yeah, I'll say thank you to Sasha, because it was a very, very good group. She did us proud. And I think Naomi is a very hard act to follow, and it must be quite intimidating to walk into groups that are as big as ours are and like pick it up blind in effect. So thank you to Sasha. The topic that's been pretty much on my mind this week, and that I've been looking at with regard to myself and my own actions, has been healthy extras. I've been walking around all week singing, "Let's talk about HEX, baby." I think I've driven Joe mad with my singing this week. If those of you are old enough to remember, the song is actually called "Let's Talk About Sex, Baby," but that's for another week. Right, so HEX choices and how I deal with them and how they work for me, or don't necessarily work for me. I've got 5 or 6 pointers that I've written down for Joe to remind me, to prompt me with, and so we'll just go straight to that. If you could just point me to number 1, Joe.
How many healthy extras is enough?
When I go to group and we talk about healthy extras, and Naomi does give really sound advice, people who are on the weight loss journey, it's 1 of each. People who are breastfeeding, some have 5 or 6 of healthy extra A choices, and there's a reason for that. But once we get to target, we're told, increase your healthy extras. And I was a bit fearful of doing this in the very initial stages, but I have now gotten to a place where I don't always succeed, but I try to have 4 healthy extra choices a day. If I don't succeed, it's because I didn't need them. I wasn't hungry, and they didn't fit into the food I was eating that day. This week I made a concerted effort to go with the 4, and only on one day did I have 3. So I managed it every day, and it has seemed to work for me. So yeah, that's been a bit of a learning curve. But I do know there are a lot of target members in my group who still only have 2. So it isn't one size fits all, and all I can share is what I do and what works for me. A lot of the ladies I sit with who are at target find that it still works for them to actually maintain, not to gain or to lose, but to maintain on 2 healthy extras. So it's a very individual choice. Yeah. Number 2, Joe?
Number 2, how do I have them just because I can? How do I have them?
He didn't sleep well last night, bless him. Do I have them just because I can? Not today. I used to. Because it said 2 healthy extras when I was losing weight, I thought I had to have them. Now, I haven't always been the biggest fan of dairy. Until I discovered my skimmed goat's milk. I used to struggle with cow's milk. I don't digest it well. And cow's milk, not cow's yogurt funnily enough, but cow's milk bloats me. So it was a great day for me when I discovered that I could have 400 mils of skimmed goat's milk and not be bloated. So now, do I have them because I can? No, I don't. I'm still open to saying no to them. But what I have learned on the journey is that you don't have to have them. But for me, I get better results if I do. I think Slimming World, as I described in an email to Eva yesterday, is a book of recommendations more than it's a book of rules. And I think you have to find your own wiggle room within it and find what suits your health and your well-being. For example, if you're a vegan, do you have to drink soy milk? I couldn't. And I think if you've got difficulties and worries and concerns, ask your consultant, because there may be other ways to work it out. So no, I don't have them because I have to. I have them because I choose to, and it seems to work better with my weight loss or balancing my maintains. Next, Joe.
Healthy extra or 6 sins?
This was something that came out of a chat with a friend the other day. We were talking about, this friend is actually still on the weight loss journey, and we were talking about healthy extras, and she said, it sounds great when you talk and you say, well, I can have 2, 3, 4 healthy extras. And I was actually talking about having added walnuts into my overnight Weetabix, chopping up walnuts and stirring them into a coffee overnight Weetabix was a bit, not a lot, just a little bit like having coffee and walnut cake, which is one of my favourites. And she said it sounds so good when you talk about being able to have that extra A, that extra B choice. But while we're on a weight loss journey, I can only have one large slice of wholemeal bread, or one portion of oats, or whatever. And I said, well, no, that's not strictly true. It's about choice. You can have 2 large slices of wholemeal bread. All you have to do is use 6 sins, which is equivalent to a healthy extra B, and think about it differently. And if you actually think that having 2 slices of bread helps you to feel like less deprived or more comfortable with the way you're eating, why call it sins? Just, think of it as, I'm going to take 6 sins out of my 15. I'm going to concentrate on having 9 sins a day and 2 healthy extra Bs. It's all a mental attitude, it's all a thought process. And if that thought process feels more generous, because for me that would, I like the sound of 2 healthy extra Bs a day, but I don't need 15 sins. So am I prepared to say, for today, I will have 9 sins and 2 healthy extra Bs? Does that feel more generous? Because then if you wanted to, you can have your bread choice, you can have your oats choice, but don't go up to 15 sins, stop at 9. And talking about it with this friend this week, I realised if I had thought like that on my weight loss journey, I think it would have helped me. Because having had what was generally for me then porridge as my healthy extra B, I was sometimes struggling thinking, actually, I would have really liked something else that was a healthy extra B. I never thought about spending 6 sins every day and calling it 2 healthy extra Bs. Next one, Joe.
HEX on SP day 1 or 2?
This came up in group this morning because we had a lady who's going away for a month and has one more weigh-in before she goes. She wants to lose 3.5 pounds. So the consultant suggested she thought about using SP or having some SP days. I added into the discussion, I have quite strong feelings around SP. I don't do it, I just have strong feelings around it. I believe, and we were told this by our consultant way back, if you're going to do an SP day, or 2 SP days, or even 3 SP days in a week, so say you chose to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday as SP days for a variety, I believe that you should only have 1 B choice on those days. Now this is quite controversial, you may come back and disagree with me, and that's fine. You may find it works for you to have 2, it wouldn't have worked for me. And I don't believe it works if you're only having the 2nd B choice, or you're only doing an SP day to get that 2nd B choice, and then, in my opinion, you're wasting it on 2 more cereal bars. You might as well count 6 sins. If you're doing SP for a week, I think even then it's a bit borderline with me. Why do they give you 2 extras? The bit about this that I don't get is a healthy extra B is for fibre. If you're eating a lot of speed food because you're doing an SP day, you're possibly upping your fibre anyway. You don't need that second B choice. Focus on your speed. And I think it works better that way. I can't understand the logic of a plan that says up your speed and then up your fibre as well by having extra SPs. All you're doing is upping your calories.
I have an extra SP.
Sorry, extra Bs. All you're doing there is upping your calories. If you can stick to one B choice on SP, especially if you're only doing a day here and there, I think you'll get a better result. Because if you think about it, you're putting all that extra speed in, plus another B choice. You're on the 15 sins max, which most people would choose to do on an SP day. What you're actually doing is increasing your sins to 21. I think it has a far more beneficial effect, one B choice on an SP day. And just because the book says you can, it's only a recommendation. It doesn't say you have to. Okay, these are my opinions and my experiences. I'm not saying Slimming World says. I say Slimming World says. No, I say I believe. If you disagree with me, that's great. I don't mind that at all. But think about it. It might just give somebody a little bit of food for thought. And what's the one final one, Joe?
There's two more.
Okay.
HEX and speed hacks.
Yeah, if you're going for HEX choices, and say this week, like the lady who's going off to Africa for a month, if you're wanting to drop a little extra this week, and you look at your B choices, in the book there are a number of speed B choices. So I can't think of them off the top of my head. I know it's 1 hi-fi bar instead of 2. I know it's 2 Rivitas instead of 4, but there are a number of others. And if you want to boost your weight loss without doing SP, stick to your normal EE because that really works for you. EE's always worked for me. If you want to do that, then my advice would be, on some days, maybe not every day, but look at the speed options for HEX B choices. It might help you. It's helped me in the past. And finally, Joe?
Speed with HEX B.
Yeah, I meant to bring my book through with me, but I can relate this information to you without showing a visual image. In the book, there are a couple of pictures around page 40-ish. One's a picture of beans on toast, just beans on toast, and one is a picture of Weetabix with milk and banana. Neither of those illustrations include speed food, and there's a reason for this, and this has helped me. If my B choice is Weetabix, which it often is with me, for my overnight Weetabix, that's my fibre choice, my Weetabix. Or my porridge, that can be my fibre choice. Or my toast, that can be my fibre choice. He's laughing at me.
We don't have a toaster.
Oh, we don't. Well, we don't eat toast, but people might relate to that. Whatever. We didn't have a toaster. Yeah. We don't have bread, so we've got no to toast. Anyway,
so you're not having toast.
But if it was, I'm illustrating that because of the beans on toast, Jay. Oh. So that's your HEX B choices, your toast, and you put your tin of preferably Branston, delicious, gorgeous Branston beans on it. I like Branston beans, good advert there. If you want to sponsor me, Branston, no thanks, but you can send me some free tins. If your HEX B choice is your fibre, you do not have to add speed vegetables or speed fruit to it. It is your fibre choice. And this isn't just Slimming World according to Jane, this is Slimming World, they say that. I, for a long, long time, would have my overnight Weetabix or my overnight oats, and I don't like fruit in yoghurt. I tried it, I couldn't finish it. So I used to have fruit on the side. Today I don't do that anymore because I have learned that I do not have to add speed to my HEX B choice. So yeah, that's my final contribution on the Let's Talk About HEX baby. One more thing I want to add before I go. I started this journey at £308 in 2010. Today I weigh £130, 9 stone 4. I never dreamt that was possible. It is possible. If I can do it, anybody can do it. What we were looking at today, because a young lady I sit with in group is Polish, when she gets weighed in, they turn the scales to kilograms for her, which is, you can have that done at Slimming World if you want it, Lots of younger people think in kilos. I'm one of the old types who has to translate. So I started this journey at 159.75. No, I'm wrong. I started this journey at 139.75 kilograms. Today I am 59 kilograms. I have lost 80.75 kilograms. That blew my mind. Yeah, just wanted to share that with you because that's how my week's ended. I've ended the week on 17.77 miles walked because it was hot and I didn't want to walk too far this week. I've ended the week.
We've kind of made a new little habit, haven't we?
We go walking in the evenings after supper, and we've got a route that takes us from where we live. We go out of our cul-de-sac and turn left, and we can do a complete circuit without crossing another road. There's a conservation field behind where we live, and then 2 big sports centres. We walk past an open air swimming pool, which sounds lovely but doesn't grab me really. I'm not stripping off for them. So we do a loop, and that loop is exactly 3,000 steps. Well, 3,080 if you count the bit down our cul-de-sac.
For the 3 loops.
The 3 loops are 3,000 steps.
Pretty much like 1,000 dead on.
Yeah, 1.25 miles for the 3 loops. And we go out in the evenings after we've had supper, dinner, whatever you want to call it, and we do that loop. And apart from going to town one day, that's the walking we've done. As I say, I finished on 17.77 miles. 4 hex choices every day except one day when I had 3. 8.5 sins a day on average, and that got me a 2.5 pound weight loss. And I'm at target. I keep hearing people say the closer you get to target, the harder it gets to lose weight. I have to say, I don't agree. I think, for me, the closer I got to target, the more complacent I got, and I made it harder for myself. Today, I live this plan 100%. Not because I have to. I can choose to gain weight if I want to. I live this way because I want to. Life isn't easy. I shared last week the stuff that life was throwing at me. Lynn Rich, bless her, lovely consultant on Slimming World who vlogs, said, if life throws you shit, turn it into manure and grow something good. Thanks, Lynn. And it's like somebody else said, if life, throws lemons at you, turn them into lemonade. It's all about choice. For me today, and I'm no different to anybody else, I'm not special, I don't find this easy, I find it simple. I love the way I eat today better than I've ever loved the way I overate. And explaining that isn't easy. One more thing I want to add today, a lovely quote that was given to me from a friend in Scarborough. Thanks, Elaine. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So let me finish on that today. We have to plan to do things differently if we want things to change and stay changed. We have to change habits for better ones if we want to make life easier. And it does become easier. Well, my life has become so much easier. I got in my own way for so many years. I made my life very, very difficult, and it always included food. Today, I have a much nicer life, and it doesn't have to include more than 3 meals a day. I don't snack because I don't need to. I eat 3 good meals a day, and I have never felt so well and so happy. And I want that for everybody. So we'll end there. I'm going to say, remember, it works if you work it, it won't if you don't, because I really believe that today. So thanks for your help, Joe.
You're all right.
Thanks for the cooking you've done this week, the watermelons you've prepared, the vegetables you've chopped, because I tell you something honestly, without his support, I would not be where I am today. And I think that's another good pointer. Get your family on your side and do it together. Thanks to everybody who's watched and got to the end. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Saturday. Bye.